Plato had it right over 2,000 years ago when he made the following comment about education. We need to be moving away from the traditional chalk and talk classrooms of yesterday and start the innovation and introduction of schools that will let our students develop the 21st century skills they need. We can do this with the Apple iPad. Some quick points about the functionality of the iPad for this school. The iPad is light and portable, which is important as many students at the school don't have a locker and therefore aren't bringing the appropriate books and equipment to class. The instant startup means we wouldn't be waiting to boot up as we are with laptops, and the battery life of an iPad is 10 hours, much longer than the standard laptops we use now. It is quite cost effective too and could be implemented on a one-to-one basis. The iPad was designed with education as a primary focus. Coincidentally enough, Apple advertises the iPad as an anytime, anywhere learning device. The New South Wales Government's connected classroom policy also has this as their ethos for learning. Using the iPad, student can be connected to learning environment anytime, anywhere at the touch of a button. The iPad correlates to the concept of the flipped classroom, which is now recognised as the most effective means of reaching our students. We no longer expect our students to do work out of a book, to take notes on paper, to listen to us lecture and then go home and regurgitate this in a tedious homework or assessment task. With the iPad, we can give our students video and audio to listen to, and we can give resources and games that they can engage with at home in a playful manner. Class time can then be used to explore these concepts in more depth and collaboratively as a group, and to practice our critical thinking skills. We have a learning management site now for the school, but the iPad would allow for so much more than a simple school intranet program. iTunes U is a program that would allow students and teachers to be connected anywhere, anytime. Unlike the school intranet, it would allow teachers to build and create their own courses and units of work, and at the same time implement relevant apps, links, videos and audio files. As well as this, it must be added that the iPad has the cool factor, appealing to students as it allows for the social networking, photos, creating movies and playing games, all of which are now recognised as a valid and valuable model of education. This cool element is actually very important in staying connected with our students and keeping them interested in their own learning, and we as teachers are able to bury learning experiences into the iPad. The New South Wales Quality Teaching Framework encourages attributes such as significance, student direction, relevance and inclusivity to be implemented into our assessment and curriculum, and with the iPad, this will help us as educators make this link. The single most important way the iPad is impacting on schools and education is the level of engagement it's able to attain from students. Technology has always done this, but the iPad has brought education to a much more personal level for the learner. It's no longer one test or one piece of assessment to fit all as seen in the satirical cartoon. It can offer so many different ways of learning to meet the many unique learning needs of our students and give them the opportunity to explore the concepts that interest and challenge them personally in a far more depth. The iPad will be the perfect tool to use in this school's classrooms to engage all of our students who fall under 1, 2, 3, 4 or maybe more of Gardner's multiple intelligences. Here's a few examples. With programs like iTunes U and the apps available for students to explore, it is almost guaranteed automatically that our students will be developing their metacognitive skills. Again, looking back at our 21st century skills, the iPad would allow for our students to practice allocating appropriate resources, determining the order of steps and processes to complete a task, and it also allows for self-moderation in that they can work at their own pace in completing a task. The iPad is also a wonderfully inclusive tool and would be a great asset for teachers to use with students who have learning and physical disabilities. The iPad allows for these students to operate autonomously, which, as students get into more senior years of secondary school, is important because they crave the independence as they get older. Here is a few examples. Looking at how the iPad will assist students holistically, it is the school's responsibility and us as teachers in every teaching area, not just computer studies, to teach students about digital citizenship. The New South Wales DET has developed a program, a series of 8 short lessons that teach students about important issues, rights and responsibilities in the digital age. The iPad would allow for this part of the curriculum to be developed in a much more organic and in-depth manner through moderated classroom activity and independent exploration on the student's part at home. Finally, this is going to streamline the efficiency of teachers. 100% of teachers surveyed from a selected school where iPads are used, so they had reduced behavioural issues due to the level of engagement. Also, the programs available like iTunes U allow for a much higher level of connection with students, which also has the potential to improve the relationship between us as educators and our students. We are no longer enforcers of education anymore, but rather facilitators and encouragers of an individual's learning path.